nutrients, but over time what was happening is I got the feeding tube, they were doing the feedings, but I would go to the doctor and then my lab work would look bad. So they would give me IV infusion. I started going to the infusion clinic. They would give me IV infusion with like iron, potassium, magnesium, this, that. TPN wasn't in the picture at the time. They were just sending me to get the things that I needed that I was low in. But then they started realizing over time that I was continuing to be low, even though I'm doing my tube feedings and everything. So then they started adding tons of supplements, where I'm taking cups and cups of supplements every day. And then there's like, okay, we'll give her supplements and then she'll be okay. And no, I wasn't. But it took like 2 years for them to get to that point where they're like something. Like I said, this all started when I was 16, when all the significant symptoms started like presenting. Because as a kid, I barely made it, but I basically had enough in me to the point where I was okay. I was surviving, if that makes sense. I survived. But I was still a very sickly child. I had failure to thrive. I developmentally delayed from the nutrients deficiency. When I went into foster care, I was the size of a 6-month-old baby, and I was 2.5 years old. I weighed 15 pounds. And when I went to so my birth mother did not take me to a doctor the first 2.5 years of my life. There is no medical record on me anywhere before the age of 2.5. My mom took me home from the hospital and never took me to a doctor. I never got my baby shots. So when I went into foster care at 2.5, I was 15 pounds. I looked like a 6-month-old baby. I did not walk. I did not talk. I was nonverbal. I couldn't hear because I was deaf, because I had so many chronic ear infections that I was deaf at the time. I couldn't hear, which is why I couldn't talk and other things. So I had my first ear surgery at that time. You know, they quickly were trying to recover my ears so that I didn't stay deaf permanently, because I felt that they could fix it. And so yeah, I had ear surgery at 2.5, and I was kept in the hospital for quite a long time because they had to give me all my baby shots I didn't have, and they had to get me healthy. So I did spend a lot of time, and the first time I went to a pediatrician, the pediatrician was shocked that I was even alive, because he said I was so emaciated and I was so sickly that he was just shook that I even survived and I was alive. So from then on, I had to get shots my whole life. I had to get nutritional like shots and stuff, like so yeah. Anyways, I had the feeding tube placed, and then they really started realizing that it was something off, and at the time I didn't know about my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome yet. So and then it wasn't until I had like the ruptured AVN that they just suspected that there was something really going on. And but having the feeding tube, I had it for about like a year, and then it wasn't working out. So then they said, let's try her on TPN, and that resolved everything. And it was because when I had the feeding tube and it wasn't working, it wasn't like, I was continuing to have deficiencies and stuff, and I became severely like anorexic, where like I was like gonna die if they didn't like put me on TPN basically. And the thing is that it was verified, it was confirmed, because they kept me in the hospital for like months at a time, where they were observing me, right? So they're seeing that I'm doing my tube feedings, they're seeing that I'm still eating and draining my stomach. Like, I'm doing everything they're telling me to do. I'm being compliant and stuff. So, like, there's no way for them to say, oh, well, you're just not eating or something. Because I was in front of them. They were giving me my tube feedings. They were giving me food to eat. They were making me eat. I did what they said. And at the end of the day, my body still didn't take nutrients. So that's how it turned in from my feeding tube that we're going to need to put you on TPN. We're going to need. That's what they said to me. They said, we were trying to do this tube thing for you, but like, you're not tolerating it. I kept throwing up my tube feedings too, and then I started having excruciating pain, and I couldn't tolerate it anymore. I couldn't tolerate my tube feedings at all. Everything was just messed up. And then I started getting refeeding syndrome, because they were trying to give me some TPN, and if you guys don't know what refeeding syndrome is, you gotta Google it, but it's very serious. So they said, then it came down to this one particular day, where they came to me and they said that we need to put you on TPN or you're going to die. That's what they said to me. So that was where my life changed for the better, because as soon as I started TPN, my life went uphill. I had gained weight. My electrolytes and my blood work started getting good, and over time it took me a full year on TPN to really get where I need to be healthy, meaning my healthy weight. It took me a whole year to get to a normal weight and to get to normal lab levels. Once I got through 1 year of TPN, normal lab levels, normal weight, everything continued to go up from there, and I continued to gain more weight. And I continued, and then my electrolytes and all my levels started becoming more stable over time. So for the longest time, my levels were just unstable consistently. Even with the TPN, they just kept being unstable. Fusions of other things, potassium to 2 years of TPN, and now I'm close to 2.5 years, and I'm perfectly stable. No issues with my lab work anymore, no problems with the TPN because I had some problems with the I was struggling with edema. Not currently, but I have prior history of kidney issues. So my kidneys are, I have I have a partial right kidney because I had a little bit more than half of it removed. I have a partial nephrectomy, which means that half of my kidney was removed. I have 1.5 kidneys. But that puts me at higher risk for when my body's trying to metabolize TPN and stuff, and my kidneys have to function hard to get all that fluid because you need your kidneys. Because I lack a good part of my right kidney, it puts more strain on my body. So sometimes I could have my kidney levels go a little bit off, and it could be not good. But anyways, so yeah. Well, I feel like I did a lot of talking, so I'm probably going to get off here soon. I'm just going to look at some more of these comments. It must have been so frustrating, yeah. What hospitals should you avoid? Honestly, I wouldn't tell you to avoid any hospital. You gotta go to the hospital, But that's really up to your discretion. But I don't want to badmouth any hospitals, because hospitals are here to help us, and so yeah. Let's see, I'm looking at any other comments. How are you and Sabot doing? We're doing great. We're doing better than ever. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you. Oh gosh. Thank you for sharing your medical issues and educating us. No problem. I love, that's what I do. I've been a rare disease advocate for the last almost 6 years now. I'm helping patients. I've been working with NORD, National Organization of Rare Disorders, and many other organizations, and I attend the Rare Patient Summit Advocacy every year, and if you guys want to come out and support me, you can come meet and greet with me and Sabod. We're going to be going to the Rare Patient Summit Advocacy. You'll have to go to my other page, Mal's Warrior, and you'll have to see all the information there. Make sure you check out my stories on Mal's Warrior, because the stories is where all the information is. I've got a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm starting the process to get a new service dog, so you guys get to see the journey there, because that's 2-3 year journey that I'm going to be going through. And I just like to share all this stuff with you guys, and it'd be nice to see some of you guys come out to the Rare Patient Summit Advocacy. That'd be cool. It's going to be in Kansas City this year in September. So yeah, it's free. But you do have to get your plane ticket. But Sabot's going to be supporting me this year finally, and that's a big ordeal every year. It's a huge thing. So yeah. Anyways, let's see. I'm so sorry that your life has been so hard. Honestly, I don't really need people to say sorry. One of the things about me is I don't want anyone to ever look at me in my life and feel sorry for me or think that my life is so hard. Because the thing is that, it's not because of it is, but it isn't. But what I'm trying to say is I want people to look at me and be inspired. I just want you to look at me and be like, wow, she's amazing.